Ranjana Jai Bhaja Jana Ranjana. Don't need anything. Put it back. Bhaja Jana Ranjana Jai Bhaja Jamuna Tira Banachare Joy Kunda Vihari Joy Kunda Vihari Joy on Vishnu Pad Paramhamsa Parvajaka Acharya Shtatarasara Sri Srimad Abhacharna Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Shami Shri Prabhupada Ki Iskcon founder Acharya Shri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Kori Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Shri Nitai Gauda Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Don't need that motion. Vandeyaham Shri Guru Shri Titapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Shagurajatam Shahagana Raganatam Vitang Tang Shajibam Shadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Jayatam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shivija Gangvidangscha Mantra Guru Arjota Shikha Guru Ganta Chadane Age Koriya Bandhan Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shamati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaudavani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shandavari Prashtadesha Tarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasari Go Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Rama Hare Hare. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 7, text 1. This introduction? Yeah, I know. What is the verse? Yeah, okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Bharatastu Mahabhagavato Yada Bhagavatavani Tala Paripalanaya Sanchintitastad Anushashana Paraha Panchajanim Vishvarupa Duhitaram Upayeme. Please chant. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Shukadev Goswami said, Bharata, Maharaj Bharat, two, but Mahabhagavata, Mahabhagavat, most exalted devotee of the Lord. Yada, when Bhagavata, by the order of his father Lord Rishabdev, Avani Tala, surface of the globe, Paripalayana, for ruling over, Shanchinti Titaha, made up his mind. Tat anushashanaha paraha, engaged in governing the globe. Panchajanim, Panchajani, Vishwarup Duhitaram, the daughter of Vishwarup, Upayame, married. Translation: Shukdev Goswami continued speaking to Maharaj Pariksit. My dear king, Bharat Maharaj was the topmost devotee. Following the orders of his father, who had already decided to install him on the throne, he began to rule the earth accordingly. When Bharat Maharaj ruled the entire globe, he followed the orders of his father and married Panchajani, the daughter of Vishwarup. Just as text 2, just as false ego creates the subtle sense objects, Maharaj Bharat created 5 sons in the womb of Panchajani, his wife. These sons were named Sumati, Rastrabrita, Sudarshan, Avarana, and Dhumraketu. Text 3, formerly this planet was known as Ajanaba Barsha, but since Maharaj Bharat's reign, it became known as Bharat Barsh. This planet was formerly known as Ajanaba because of the reign of King Nabi. After Bharat Maharaj ruled the planet, it became celebrated as Bharat Barsh. Text 4, Maharaj Bharat was a very learned and experienced king on this earth. He perfectly ruled the citizens, being himself engaged in his own respective duties. Maharaj Bharat was as affectionate to the citizens as his father and grandfather had been, keeping them engaged in their occupational duties. He ruled the earth. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Iskcon, Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It is most important that the chief executive rules the citizens by keeping them fully engaged in their respective occupational duties. Some of the citizens were Brahmins, some were Kshatriyas, and some were Vaishyas and Sudras. It is the duty of the government to see that the citizens act according to these material divisions for their spiritual advancement. No one should remain unemployed or unoccupied in any way. One must work as a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Sudra on the material path, and on the spiritual path, everyone should act as a Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha or Sannyasi. Although formerly the government was monarchy, all the kings were very affectionate toward the citizens, and they strictly kept them engaged in their respective duties. Therefore, society was very smoothly conducted. Srila Prabhupada ki Mukam karate bachalam pangam langate girim chakrapatam aham bande shri gunam dinatarinam. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna explains that Shreya Swadharma Biguna Paradharma Sa Anushtita. He's encouraging Arjuna, because Arjuna is a Kshatriya. He's saying Shreya Swadharma Biguna. It's better to perform your prescribed duties, Swadharma. Even to imitate, better to do that even though there may be some mistakes, rather than imitating another's duties. So in Bhagavad Gita, actually Krishna he's encouraging the Varna Ashram system. Bhagavad Gita. Chaturvana Maya system. Chaturvana Maya system. He's saying that I created this system. Gunakarma Vibhaga based on the qualities and the work. So this is the ideal system of organization in human society. However, without the practice of Krishna consciousness, the performance of Varnasrama Dharma is simply material. It's simply material. In fact, in his instructions to Vyas Muni, having compiled Bhagavad Gita as part of Mahabharata, Vyas Muni, he was feeling somewhat dissatisfied. Even though he'd compiled so many Vedic literatures, Mahabharata and Puranas, including one version of Bhagavatam he compiled, and Veda, the Upanishads, and Itihash, and Vedanta Sutra, all of this compiled by Mahamuni Vyas. Mahamuni. Actually, he's Shakta Abhesh Avatar. Shakta Abhesh Avatar means he's a jiva, but the power of the Lord, Shakta Abhesh, has entered him. And even though he's a jiva, Vyasadev, he's acting in the capacity as the Lord himself, as good as the Lord himself doing that particular task. So sometimes the Lord, he does himself, and sometimes he empowers a jiva to act on his behalf as he would be acting himself. That's called Shakta Abhesh. Actually, Pitu Maharaj. Shakta Abhesh Avatar is the king. So Vyas, great Vyas Muni, what a enormous task. Prior to the appearance of Vyas Muni, that's the end of Dwapara Yuga. Prior to that, the Vedic literature, it was the Shabda Brahman Shruti Brahman. It was simply in the sound form. There was no written Vedas. Simply by hearing, the students would be able to remember the instructions of the Guru. Actually, this is a perfection that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also displayed even in his childhood. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although he was a Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was performing the Leela of a Brahmin boy. Adikonda Kota Jai Amrit Shravan Jai Shishi Rupe Krida Kore Narayan. Vrindavan Das Thakur was describing that Shishi Rupe in the form of a young student. Krida Kore, he's enjoying Narayan, the Lord of Vaikuntha, in the form of a young student. And even though at home, all knowledge, he already Ghore Shardava Shastra Bhujya Shamihito. He understood the conclusion of all Shastras as a young child, even at home. Ghore Shardava Shastra Bhujya Shamihito. Goshti Majay Prabhu Porite Hoilo Chitto. However, he had a desire to Goshti Majay. Goshti means association. Goshti Majay Porite, to study in association of other students, or Porite Hoilo Chitto. The Lord had a desire, a desire arose in his heart. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. That the desire arose in the heart of the Lord. That's described in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. That's the Adikanda chapter 5. And before that, there's no mention that he has desire to study in the company of other students. So that desire, it entered. It came. So that's very interesting. That the Supreme Lord, as we hear in the Upanishad literature, Om Purnam Araha Purnam Idam Purnat Purnam Udachite Purna Sha Purnam Hadaya Purnam Evavashishite Om Purnam Adaha. Om Purnam. He's already complete. He doesn't lack it. Not everything is already there. Om Purnam. However, desires, they arise in the heart of the Lord. Isn't that amazing? That already he's complete, however, he has desires. That's because he's Param Purushottam. He's the Supreme Person. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's a person. He has likes, he thinks he likes. And the desires come into his heart. Isn't that amazing? I find it amazing. Desires come into his heart. That means if you know what his desire is, you can fulfill that, and you can become his you can become his beloved by finding out his desire and fulfill. Evam param param. How do you find out the desire? Evam param param praptam. Evam, I am discovered, I am achieved param param para praptam, through the disciplic succession. Through the disciplic succession. It's so nice here to speak in Iskcon, Hyderabad, a temple established by Prabhupada, Didis established by Prabhupada, where Prabhupada sat and preached, because Prabhupada, one man that he did so much for humanity. We foreign people, we came to Krishna consciousness because Prabhupada traveled. Prabhupada came to my city, Melbourne. He came and sat on Bhyasasan and he gave lecture. I was not there. I was a young boy at the time, 10 years old, 12 years old, when Prabhupada was coming to my town. I never saw Prabhupada, but I heard about him and read about him in the newspaper. But even that had an effect. And Prabhupada, it's not only in the time when Prabhupada is on the planet that people are benefited. He comes and what he provides, it for thousands of years subsequently, people will be benefited. That's the effect of a great Mahabhagavata. Jaishtan Vaishnav Korin Bijay Sheshtan Hoy Oti Punna Tirtamoy. Where Vaishnava performs his pastimes, Sheshtan Hoy Oti Punna Tirtamoy becomes a holy place of pilgrimage. Prabhupada came to my city. He installed the deities, same, Gaurnitai, Krishna Balaram, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra in Melbourne, same. Generally, Prabhupada installed deities like this: Radha Krishna, Gaurnitai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. Prabhupada ki! So the Prabhupada temple here. He sat on Vyasasan, he said, the people of Melbourne have become fortunate because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared here. So I'm one of those fortunate people. And similarly, people of Hyderabad have become fortunate because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared here. And Sisi Radha Madan Mohan. And because Prabhupada invited, Krishna said, Toma, Krishna dite paro, Toma shakati ache. Thakur Bhaktivinoda. And he explains, Krishna said, Toma. Just imagine how intimately connected Srila Prabhupada is with Krishna. What he has done for Krishna. What Prabhupada has done for Krishna. He has made his name spread all over, which wasn't like that before. Even I was born in Australia, and I remember the first time I heard Krishna's name. I remember the first time I heard Krishna's name, because the devotees came. Prabhupada came, he began preaching, and the holy name, it became spread. But before that, we never heard. I was 12 years old. The place is a condemned place. No, you're not hearing Krishna's name in these foreign countries. It's condemned. Because Bharat Bhumi is different. Today we're hearing Bharat, how it achieved the name Bharat Bhumi. It's a legal name, in Constitution of India, It's written there, Bharat. India, actually, the name is it's a mistake. You know that? It's a mistake. I think he thought he was finding North America, India, and India. It's a mistake. I don't know why you still keep that name. It's the name of the foreigners gave. The name is Bharat Bhumi. And Mahaprabhu says, Bharat Bhumite hoila manusha janmajar. Those who take birth in Bharat. Bharat Bhumite hoila manusha janmajar. Those who take birth in Bharat. Janma sharta kore para upakar. Especially Mahaprabhu expects more from the people born in India. Expects more. Because Bharat Bhumi. So many special, such facility, the Dham, Krishna Janma Bhumi, Ram Janma Bhumi, Mahaprabhu Janmastan, Shri Gauda Mondol Bhumi, Jabajane Chinta Moni, Shri Gauda Mondol Bhumi, Gauda Desh, Mahaprabhu Janmastan, Jabajani Chinta Moni is spiritual, desire fulfilling, the earth of Bengal. So fortunate. Bharat Bhumi, you take birth in Bharat Bhumi, but you're not taking advantage. I'm not understanding. So that the foreigners have to come to tell you about your real wealth. Otherwise, you don't listen. But the foreigners are speaking, something interesting. So Mahaprabhu, he at home, he learned he already had learned everything. Goshti Gore, Sharva Shastra Bhujya Shamira. Goshti Maji, he desired to study in association. And Jagannath Mishra, he understood the desire. He understood the desire of Shachinandan. He understood, he took him to the teacher. Sisinita Gaushanda ki, Radha Madan Mohan ki, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mahani ki jai, Gopad ki jai, Iskcon Hyderabad ki jai. So Jagannath Mishra, he took Nimai to the teacher. So what teacher did he take him to? What teacher? Just someone convenient? Like you have to take your children to the school. So what do you consider? Well, the first thing is what's the budget? What's the budget? Those of you who are not yet entering family life, just understand from the time the child is born to the finish education, crores and crores of rupees just to get the child educated. It's educated. So we think, first of all, where's the budget? Where's the budget school? And then somewhere convenient, you can get the bus. Child can get the bus, come and go. What a headache. Have to educate the child, have to feed them 3 times a day. Such a effort. So of course, in Krishna consciousness, everything is wonderful. Krishna conscious family life. So Jagannath Misra, he took which teacher? Who will teach Nimai? Who is ready to become the teacher of Nimai? Who is ready? Navadipe, Oddapak, Navadipe, Oddapak Shiromani, Oddapak Shiroman, the crest jewel of the professors in Navadipache, Oddapak Shiromani, Gangadas Pandit, Henu, Shandipani, the Sandipani Muni, the guru of Krishna and Balaram from Avantipur, Ujjain, Avantipur. He appeared in Navadip. He appeared just to become the teacher of Nimai. You put some of that. He appeared in Navadip just to become the teacher of Nimai. Gaudangeda Shongi Gone Nita Shidha Konimane. The associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were perfected beings, Nita Shidha. They appeared just to perform the pastimes. But they don't know. One time Nimai, he was walking on the street in Navadip. He saw 20 sannyasis. How often do you get 20 sannyasis in Hyderabad? Maybe once in a while, one. Very rarely, maybe two. Even Mayapur festival, you have 20 sannyasis in one place. Mayapur festival, even you won't see 20. Maybe 5, 10, big festival day, big opening flag hoisting, maybe 10 sannyasis. 20 sannyasis, that's just an ordinary day in Navadip. Goshandor walking on the street, Navadip Chandra, he sees 20 sannyasis. Just try to understand the aristocratic environment in which Goshandor appeared in Navadip, the aristocratic environment. On any day you can find 20 sannyasis walking on the street. Chatudik hoite lok Navadipe jai. From all directions, lok Navadipe jai. They were going to Navadip. Why? Navadip porle shay bidarash pai. If you study in Navadip, shay bidarash pai. You get a taste for learning. So Chatudik hoite, from all directions, Chatudik hoite lok Navadipe jai. They're all coming to Navadip, all the scholars coming to Navadip. What a place. What a aristocratic environment. The scholarship was so much appreciated. And therefore, all of the Vaishnava Brahmins from East Bengal, Advaita Acharya Thakur, Srivas Thakur, Shivananda Shain, Murari Gupta, Pundarik Vidyanidhi Mahodai, Vasudev Datta, Mukunda Datta, from East Bengal, they all came to Navadip and they had their schools. And in this way, Navadip, the place of learning. So what a teacher, what a teacher, Gangadas Pandit. And Nimai understanding the desire, he took his son to the toll of Gangadas Pandit. Took him. And then Nimai began studying from Gangadas Pandit. And what a student he became. Joto Bhakya Gangadas Pandit Koren. Joto Bhakya. Whatever Gangadas Pandit said, Joto Bhakya Gangadas Pandit Koren. Shukrit Shunile Matro Thakur Doren. Hearing it once, Nimai would remember. Hearing it once. He had this perfection that hearing once he could remember. And he became such a brilliant student. Sharba Navadipe, Sharba Lo Koilo Thoni, Nimai Pandit Oddapak Shiromani. Sharba Navadipe, all over Navadip, Sharba Lo Koilo Thoni, all you could hear from the lips of the residents of the Navadip. Nimai Pandit Oddapak Shiromani. Nimai Pandit is the crest jewel of the professors. What a scholar he became. And then ultimately he gave it up. He gave it up. He gave it up for the Shankirtan, for performing Shankirtan with his Nitya Siddha Shangigan, the eternal associates that all appeared there. So previously, just by everyone was like that. And I didn't need books. I didn't need how to read. Everything was just by hearing. The students, the Shruti. Shrutidar. Shrutidar. They could just remember just by hearing. That was in the previous ages, Satya Yug, Treta Yug, Dwapara Yug. And then in Kali Yug, Kale Dosha Nidhi Rajan. Kale Dosha Nidhi is an ocean of fault. Kali Yuga. Kale Dosha Nidhi Rajan. Ashti Eka Mahagunai. And there's one good thing about Kali Yuga. Ashti Eka Mahagunai. Kirtana Hare Krishna Sha. By chanting the names of Krishna, Mukta Shanga, you can become completely delivered from all of the entanglement in the material energy, Mukta Shanga Param Prajet. And you can attain that supreme abode, Kirtanad Eva Krishna Sha, just by chanting the name of Krishna. So this is the great feature of, the great facility of Kali Yuga. So Vyasmuni, seeing this so described in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, seeing the discrepancies, seeing the anomalies of Kali Yuga, he took upon himself the Herculean task of compiling the Vedic literature, the 4 Vedas, compiling them into organized literary form. He's described Veda Vyas, Mahamuni Vyasadev, literary incarnation. And so he first of all he divided the Vedas into the 4 divisions, and then the supplementary, the Puranas. Purana actually means supplement to the Vedas. Purana, and then the Itihas, the histories. Sri Sudra Shudra, for the non-intellectuals, the Puranas and the Itihas, Mahabharata. Everyone likes to hear. Just when there's a war, everyone's very interested in that. There's a war. Is it like front page? And if you go to the news channels, the front always a war here. There's 3 wars. There's Ukraine, Russia, and then Israel and Palestine and Israel, and then almost India, Pakistan. Right? It's just front page news. It's always a top thing. People a war. So it attracts people's attention. So similarly, the Mahabharata is arranged for different reasons. Vinashacha Duskritam. So many rascals were there in the guise of the political leaders, so that had to be dealt with. So Krishna arranged, they all come together on the battlefield and kill each other. And then in that situation, just before the battle, what a moment. What a heightened moment of interest. It's a crisis. It's a global crisis. A global crisis. All the armies are assembled. Samaveta Yuyutshava. Mahameka Pandavaska Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Shamaveta Yuyutshava. All assembled. Shamaveta Yuyutshava. Ready for, it's a global crisis. Mahameka Pandavaschaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. What did they do? So wow, it's like front page news. Yes, global crisis. Everybody, all the great warriors, they're all assembled with all their armies. So everyone with bated breath, the whole of the world. So at that time, Krishna speaks, because now you will listen. Now you listen. Dharma shangstarpanataya shambhavami juge juge. Dharma shangstapon. Now I will establish. Dharma shangstapon means that. Was that Paritananaya Adharma Abhibhavat Krishna? No, how does that one go? Yada hi dharma shaglanir. When there is discrepancies. So this happens time to time. Everything becomes confused. So he himself has to come to establish dharma shangstapon. Irrevocably, unequivocally, shangstapon. No questions. A complete clarification. Just like I remember many years ago, there was the rupee devaluation. Remember that? And one day everyone was going crazy for 500 rupee notes. 500 rupee? No, was it 1,000 rupee? 500 rupee? 500 rupee notes? Everyone going crazy. And 2,000 rupee notes, they were there in the old days. Yes, not now. And then the next day, useless, valueless. Who could imagine such a thing? We don't believe it. So the Prime Minister himself, not even the Finance Minister, the Prime Minister himself had to come on the public and make an announcement. And then the Prime Minister says, okay, everyone believes. He's the ultimate authority. So Krishna personally comes to establish. So even after compiling Mahabharata, after compiling Gita, where Krishna explains his conclusion about Dharma, Sarva Dharman Purityaga Mameka Sharanam Braja, surrender unto me, Manmana, think of me, Bhavamat Bhakta, become my devotee, Madhyaji, worship me, Mam Namaskuru, bow down to me. Mamivai Shashi Yuktavam Atmanan Matparayana, by complete absorption in me, in Krishna consciousness, you will attain me. Tato Mam Tatvato Gadva. When you're fully conscious of me, Vishate Tat Anantaram, you can enter that eternal abode. Antakale Chamame Vashmaram. Remember me alone at the time of final moment. Antakale. Sa Prayati Shamad Bhavam. Yati Nashtatra Shangshay. No doubt, you remember me at the final moment, you will attain the spiritual world. Krishna comes to clarify. But even after explaining and establishing the principles of religion in the literature compiled by Vyas Muni, still he was feeling dissatisfied. And then Vyas Muni, even Vyas Muni becomes bewildered. Even a Shaktibesh avatar like Vyas Muni requires a guru. Even a Shaktibesh avatar like Vyas Muni requires a guru. And here we are, such neophyte in Krishna consciousness, and we are a few years as devotee, we think, I know what to do. No one need to tell me what to do. Even Vyas Muni requires correction. Everyone requires correction. That's the mistake we make, that we become a devotee for a few years and we don't listen to anybody. Now I know. Even Vyas Muni requires correction. Nayad Bachashchitra Padan Hade Jasho Jagat Pagatin Pagunita Kaichi Tadbaya Sam Tirta Mukshanti Manasa Nayatra Hangshar Niramanti Ushikshaya. Those literatures which are not glorifying the Namani Anantasha Yashon Kintani, the name, the pastimes, the qualities of the Supreme Lord Hadi. Tadbayasam Tirtam, they're just like the place of pilgrimage for crows. Tadbayasam Tirtam. You have crows in Hyderabad? Of course you have crows. Wherever there is, Prabhupada says there's rubbish, the smell, the crows, they attract it. In all the cities, and in so many crows. Even in Mayapur there's crows. Wherever there's junk, there's a refuse, the crows are attracted. They like the smell. In discussing on this verse, Prabhupada said one time he was in Kolkata and in his Grihastha life, and one friend came in his car, not many cars. Prabhupada also had a car. It was a Buick. And Prabhupada, he didn't drive it himself. He never learned how to drive, but his nephew was driver. And Prabhupada would take that car for different business arrangements. Buick. So Prabhupada's friend came in the car and they saw Abhay. Hey, Abhay, we're going to the cinema. We're going to the cinema. They met the British. They brought many things to India. They brought cinema. They brought the cha kabin, cha. They bought cricket. And cricket, so dear to the heart of the. It's a spoil. Cricket. Of course, we won't discuss Australia-India cricket. So that friend said to Abhay, said, we're going to the cinema. Well, come along. And Prabhupada said, even if you pay me $1,000, I will not go to the cinema. Even if you pay me $1,000, imagine how much $1,000 was? Even if you pay, I think probably we'd say, okay, I'll sit through the movie, you pay $1,000. Sure, I can do a lot with $1,000. But Prabhupada, so much he was not into Na yatra hangsha. Na yatra, the swans, they do not go. Na yatra hangsha. The swans, they're not attracted to the refuse. You don't see the swans around the pile of rubbish. Na yatra hangsha, the swans do not go. So the Paramhangsha Bhagavatas, they're not attracted to the mundane prajalpa, the mundane news, the sports events, this and that. They're not attracted. And so Vyas, Narad Muni, he's chastising Vyasadeva that and what's it is Bayasam Tirtam, that's the Karma Kanda. Karma Kanda is religious activities for prosperity. And most people, that's their level. Even now, Mahaprabhu is explaining to Rupa Goswami, Dharmachari modde bahut karma nishtho. Amongst those who are somewhat religious, Dharmachari modde bahut karma nishta. Most are simply, they have faith that let me do some service, some worship, and I will get results. I will get relief from my suffering. I will get some specific desire fulfilled. I will get money. I will get problems solved. Most people, this is their interest in religion. Dharmachari modde bahut karma nishta. I have faith, I'll do something for God, I will get something back. It's called karmachari karma nishta. That's better than a complete atheist. But it's not the advanced level. Dharmachari modde bahut karma nishta. Koti karma nishta modde ek jnani shreshta. Out of 10 million such karma nishtas, those who have faith, some faith in the deity and do some service to get remuneration, out of 10,000, koti, out of 10 million, ek jnani shreshta. You'll find one person who actually understands the purpose is liberation. Jnani shreshta. Koti jnani modde hoy ekjon mukta. And out of 10 million such jnanis, you'll find ekjon mukta, one who is actually liberated. Koti mukta modde dulabh ek Krishna bhakta. And out of 10 million such liberated souls, it's rare to find a devotee of Krishna. So how fortunate I am having come to Iskcon Hyderabad today, and I'm surrounded by devotees of Krishna. What good fortune. How I attained this good fortune. Prabhupada's mercy. So Vyas, Narad Muni, he's chastising Vyas. Simply this platform, people, just like Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, that, what is that? The Ferris wheel. How does that one say? Does that one go? 922. How does that one go? Just like go up and down, Brahmanda Brahmati. No, there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita, 922. Evam. It's got it there, 920, 921, 922. Those who follow the Vedic principles achieve gata, they achieve repeated birth and death. How does that start? What's the first line? Tetam bhukta swagalokam vishalang. Tetam bhukta swagalokam vishalang. Kshinai punya martalokam vishanti. Kshinai punya martalokam vishanti. You get so much by doing karma, Varnasrama dharma. You be a good brahmana, be a good kshatriya, be a good vaishya. That's called karma. That's karma kanda. You do that, you get punya. Kshinai punya, but the punya is exhausted, just like the ATM card. You withdraw, and one day no funds available. It's not the chintamani. It exhausts. Kshinai punya. Similarly, the results of dharma, without Krishna consciousness, the results, they're exhausted. Even though they may extend over several lives, that's not spiritual. It's material benefit. And one goes up to higher planets, kshinai punya martalokam vishanti, he returns again to kshinai punya. The pious results are exhausted. You use up the credit. Kshinai punya martalokam vishanti. You come back. So what's the use? So Narad is saying there's so much effort. You've done a disservice. You've instructed the people to do the religious activity. They get punya. They go higher planets, exhausted. They come back to zero. What a waste. Is that Chaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam bhajana paktva tau tapetto jadi yatra kava abhadram abud kovarto aptam. Kovarto aptam. What is the gain? Narad is explaining to Vyas Muni. Kovarto aptam. What is the benefit? Abhajatam swadharma. Of doing your swadharma perfectly without chanting Hare Krishna. Abhajatam. Without Krishna consciousness. Kovarto aptam. What is the gain? In the perfection of Varnasrama dharma without Krishna consciousness. There's no gain. So this is actually the Bhagavat Siddhanto. It's the Bhagavat Siddhanto. It's in the very beginning of Bhagavatam. Bhagavat Siddhanto. When the sages at Naimisharanya inquired from Sutta Goswami, Budini, Budi Karmani, so many regulative principles. Budi Karmani, Shrotabhyani Vibhagashaha. And so many different divisions have to be heard, studied. Ata Shadu Trayat Sharam. Hey sadhu, what is the cream? What is the essence? What is the essential of all the different regulative instructions in scripture? What is the essence? What is the cream? Bruhi bhadraya bhutanam. You tell us. Bruhi bhadraya bhutanam, so that we get bhadra, we get auspiciousness, yainatma suprasiditi, and get complete satisfaction. And Sutta Goswami, he answers, next chapter, that's chapter 1, question to the sages, Bhagavat. Chapter 2, Sutta Goswami answers, Shinvatam swakata Krishna, punna shrabana kirtana, Ridyantashto hi bhadrani vidunati shurit satam. Just by hearing about Krishna, as we find in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, just by hearing about Krishna, Srinvatam swakata Krishna, by hearing about Krishna, punna Shrabana Kirtana, you get all the results of Varnasrama Dharma. Punya, Shrabana Kirtana, by hearing and chanting. How is that? Because Varnasrama, being a good Brahmana, being a good sannyasi, being a good householder, gradually you're relieved of material desire. But it takes such a long time. Sometimes in the traffic, in the city here in Mumbai, Hyderabad also, in the jam, you have a traffic jam. You're going so slow, if you're going any slower, you'll be going backwards. So it's like that. It takes so slow that you'll never achieve. So he's saying, go direct. Krishna Kata, hearing and chanting. Srinvatam swakatas ridyantashto hi bhadrani. Ridyantashto, because Krishna, who's situated in the heart, ridyantashto is situated in the heart. He abhadrani vidunati. Abhadrani, he cleans the abhadra, all of the inauspicious things in the Abhadrani vidunati surit satam, because he's the friend of the devotee. This is the process. By hearing about Krishna, Krishna purifies. Krishna, it's called Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness. Maya shaktamana apato. You become Krishna conscious. Hear about Krishna. Remember Krishna. Talk about Krishna. And this way one's heart becomes the materialism, the material desire which causes you to take birth again and again, it evaporates. Because Krishna, you're remembering. Krishna Surya Shama Maya Hoy Ondaka. Maya is like darkness, Krishna Surya Shama. Krishna is like the sun. Jahan Krishna, Tahan Maya, Adina, Adika. Where the Krishna, then the Maya evaporates. This is the direct process. Direct. Anato Pashamam Shakshat Bhakti Jogam Adhokshache. Bhakti Jogam. Vyas became convinced a few chapters later, 7th chapter, 1st canto. Anato parshamam, all of the unwanted things, anarta, anato parshamam, shakshat are destroyed, bhakti jogam, adhokshache, by devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Lokasha ajana sha. The people do not know this. Vidwan chakre satvita sanghita. So for that reason, the great Vyas Muni, Vidwan Chakra, he compiled Satvita Sanghita, the Bhagavat, which is full of descriptions of the Lord and his pastimes. And in this way, the direct process, Krishna consciousness, hearing and chanting about Krishna, one attains all of the results of Varnasrama Dharma. So why Varnasrama Dharma? Why we wear Brahman thread? Why? We're chanting Hare Krishna, we don't need. Why we wear Brahman thread? Actually, in the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you'll see his picture. He's not wearing Brahman thread. Nitya Lila Pravishta Shochidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's not wearing Brahman thread. And Nitya Lila Pravishta Vaishnav Shava Bhoma Jagannath Das Babaji. They're not wearing Brahman thread. They're beyond Varnasrama Dharma, even beyond sannyas. The Vaishnavas up to the time of Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they weren't wearing Brahman thread. They were abadut. They were already liberated. The Sarup Siddhi, Nitya Krishna Das. I'm Krishna's servant. Even Mahaprabhu explains, Naham Vipra, I'm not a Brahman. Naha Narapati, I'm not a Kshatriya. Napi Vaishya, Shudra, Naham Varni, I'm not a sannyasi. Nahacha Grihapati, I'm not a Grihasta. Kintu Prodam Nikala Paramananda Punam Vitadbe Gopi Bhatur Parakamalayo Dasa Dasa Anudas. So why Varnasrama Dharma? In Iskcon, Brahman, Brahmacharis, Grihastas, Sannyasis. Why? To organize this society, organize the mission. In the mood of Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he sat down in 1917 in front of a picture of Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He sat down in front of the picture and he initiated himself in the Gayatri Mantra. And he initiated himself into sannyas. And he wore the sannyas dress and he wore the Brahman thread. And subsequently he initiated the disciples and he gave them the Gayatri mantra and other mantras that we chant. And he gave them the sannyas dress because he needed the leaders of the mission. The sannyasis are like a general in the army. The brahmacharis are like the foot soldiers. The sannyasis like a general. How to organize? Everyone respects a sannyasi. Everyone respects. Even Mahaprabhu took sannyas for that reason. Tobe more teke shay dori be choram. When they see me, they will clasp my feet. Mahaprabhu, he took sannyas for this reason. Tobe more teke shay dori be choram. They will clasp my feet. E mote udharaibo shakal buman. In this way, I will deliver all classes, the atheists, the scholars, the smarters, they will all respect the sannyasi. And in this way, I will deliver the entire universe. So therefore, sannyasis are needed. So sannyasis, brahmacharis, and those who are not sannyasi, what are they? Person non grata? Grihasta. Grihasta. Grihe babone te take, ha gauranga bole dake. Grihe babone te take. Live at home. Live in the forest. Ha Gauranga bole dake. Chant the name of Gauranga. Narottam Thakur sings. Was it Grihe Babonete Take? Ha Gauranga bole take. Mage Narottam Mage Tarashonga. Narottam Mage Tarashonga. Narottam Thakur, he desires the association of the Grihasta who at home is chanting the name of Gauranga. Jai Gauranga Namalo Hitara Premudoi. Because just by taking the name Gauranga, you'll awaken prema. So some thoughts on today's verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Any questions? Yes.
What is the difference between pious activities and Krishna consciousness activities?
What is it? What?
What is the difference between pious activities and devotional activities?
Oh, what is the difference between pious activities and Krishna consciousness? A very good question. How fortunate I am to be able to find such listeners that can ask such an interesting question. The difference between pious activities and Krishna consciousness. As we explained, the Bhagavad Siddhanta, that Punya Shravana Kirtana, by hearing and chanting Shravana Kirtana, you'll get all pious credit. You will get all pious credit. But by piety, you will not get prema. By piety, by being a good householder, by being a renunciate, without chanting Hare Krishna, you will not get prema. Jai Gauranga Namalo Tara Hoi Premudoi. Those who take the name of Gauranga, Tara Hoi Premudoi. Tare Mui Jai Boli Hari. Bravo, Prabhupada translates. To them I say bravo. Mui Jai Boli Hari. Bravo, Prabhupada translates. Bravo. So Krishna consciousness, you get all the piety. It becomes automatic. You come to Sattva Gun. Tada Raja Tama Bhava. Kama Lobha Dayasche. The effects of Raja and Tamagun. Kama Lobha. Lust and greed. Chaita Eter Anavidam are removed from the heart. Stitam Sadve. You become situated in mode of goodness. Prashiditi. And become fully enlivened just by Nitam Bhagavat Sevaya. By regular hearing Bhagavatam. So all piety, the piety gradually you elevate from the lower modes, tamagun, by doing duty. Tamagun, no, you know what to do, my prescribed duty, you're above tama. Raja, no, I'm doing it for my duty. You overcome Rajaguna, you become Varnasrama, it'll lead you to Sattvagun eventually. But Sattvagun is byproduct of Krishna, of hearing. Sattvagun is byproduct. So this is the difference, that Krishna consciousness includes all piety. You get all piety automatically by Krishna consciousness. And if you just do pious activities without Krishna consciousness, whatever, very difficult, and whatever results you get, they're exhausted. But the results of Krishna consciousness are never exhausted. Neha bikrivanasasi pratabhayana vidite. There's no diminution of the progress you make in Krishna consciousness. Even you go away for some time, or you come back, you carry on again from where you left off. But the results of the pious activities, kshine punya, are all exhausted in due course of time. Some other questions? Maybe let's see if someone else has a question. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for a wonderful description of Gauranga Leela also here. Prabhuji, my question is about that verse, occupational duties, which is emphasized. Bharat Maharaj is keeping all the citizens engaged in occupational duties. So spiritual duties are also like considered there, or how it is like, because in our scenario,
Well, what we're
we
doing,
prioritize.
as I mentioned, Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he integrated the Varnasrama Dharma system in the Gaudiya Math mission. And Prabhupada, he followed the same example. So in Iskcon, we have Prabhupada was a sannyasi, and Prabhupada initiated sannyasis and brahmacharis and grihastas. So therefore, it's spiritualized Varnashram Dharma. It's spiritualized. It's the form, it's the structure in which instructions are received. So you have an authority. For the grihastas, the sannyasis are authority. For the brahmacharis, the sannyasis are an authority. So the instructions given, we take that as spiritual. We take that as spiritual because it's in relation to Krishna. It's Krishna conscious. It's Krishna-ized. So therefore, we take it seriously. We respect the sannyasis. We take their instructions seriously. And other authorities in Iskcon, the administrative leader, are also respected in Iskcon because it's a spiritual institute. It's a spiritual organization. A spiritual organization. So the organization, the way that it's organized, also is considered to be spiritualized. Now, in regard this, so this is next step. Okay, we organize Iskcon. We have spiritual leaders, sannyasis, and the different divisions of members, the grihastas, the sanya, brahmacharis. The different facilities are given. The brahmacharis are provided whatever their needs. The grihastas, they're not. The grihastas provide the financially independent. The different circumstance according to your inclination. It's not that everyone one hole we have to squeeze all the pegs. No, it doesn't have to be like that. As we mentioned, grihe babonete take ha gaurango. You can live at home and chant. You can live in the temple and chant. You'll still get the effect. So therefore, there's different. The Varnashram system, it covers all society and is very suitable for organizing our mission. And then next step is organize broader society. And that's also part of our mission. Prabhupada wanted that we instruct how to organize a broader society. There should be divisions. There should be the brahmanas should be guiding the government. And there should be renunciates, and they should be protected by the society and the household and the students. These things Prabhupada wanted. He wanted the spiritualization of the governments of the world. That the executive head of the state, he's a devotee, and he takes advice from the Brahmins, and he prevents the killing of cows and intoxication and other things. He prevents they become illegal. And this is Raja Rishi. So this is our objective to achieve this. Even if all of the people they do not become devotees, but if the government leaders, imam raja sayo vidu, imam praptam imam raja sayo vidu, Krishna instructed to the kings, imam raja sayo vidu. This should be known by the kings, because at least if the king is a Krishna conscious person, then the whole of the state will be prosperous and will be happy, because the king will prevent the illicit activities. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Iskcon Hyderabad ki jai, Shishi Nitai Gauda Sitanath Premanande Hari Hari Bol.